His spaceship slowly landed on the strange planet, its surface glowing under the light of two suns. Commander Aiden stepped out, his boots sinking slightly into the soft, pink sand. He had traveled across galaxies, but nothing had prepared him for this. The air smelled sweet, almost like flowers mixed with rain. In the distance, he saw creatures moving gracefully, their skin shimmering in colors he had never seen before. They wore nothing at all, not even a single piece of clothing, yet they did not seem shy or embarrassed. Aiden felt a strange mix of curiosity and fear. One of the creatures noticed him and approached slowly. It had large, glowing eyes and long fingers that moved like dancers. Aiden raised his hand in greeting, unsure if they understood him. To his surprise, the creature smiled, revealing a set of bright teeth. Then it gestured for him to follow. As Aiden walked, he observed the species carefully. Their city looked alive, but it was different from anything he'd seen. Buildings seemed to grow from the ground, twisting and turning like giant plants. The streets were clean, yet they had no walls or doors. It was as if privacy did not exist here, yet no one seemed uncomfortable. Aiden noticed children playing near a river of glowing water. Their laughter echoed strangely, carrying a musical tone that felt calming. Adults worked with strange tools that seemed alive, moving as if they had minds of their own. Even from a distance, Aiden could feel a strong energy flowing through the city. Something about this place felt alive, almost conscious. He finally reached a large plaza where a crowd had gathered. All eyes turned toward him. But none of the creatures looked hostile. Aiden felt a shiver run down his spine. The tallest among them stepped forward, its skin reflecting the sunlight. It spoke in a soft voice, yet somehow Aiden understood the meaning. "Welcome, traveler. You may stay, but you must follow our ways," it said. Aiden tried to speak, but his words felt clumsy and small. He nodded instead, sensing that the rules here were different. As he moved deeper into the city, he realized something strange. Everywhere he looked, the creatures were in perfect harmony. No one shouted, no one fought. Yet everyone had a role. It was as if they were connected by an invisible thread. He was led to a small dwelling, simple but elegant. There was no furniture as he knew it, but the space was comfortable. A soft glow from the walls lit the room, changing colors slowly. He sat down on the floor, feeling the warmth beneath him. The creature who guided him remained standing, waiting silently. "Why don't you wear clothes?" Aiden asked finally. The creature tilted its head, as if amused by the question. "Clothing is not needed," it said. "Everything we are is open to the world. Hiding changes nothing, and the world changes nothing." It added. Aiden frowned, trying to understand. On Earth, clothing was essential, a sign of status, protection, and identity. Here, it seemed unnecessary, even foreign. A sudden noise interrupted his thoughts. From above, a shadow passed quickly, moving with incredible speed. Aiden looked up, trying to see what it was, but it disappeared before he could focus. The creature noticed his concern and smiled faintly. "Do not fear. The sky watches us, but does not harm unless needed," it said. Aiden felt more curious and more anxious at the same time. As night approached, the city changed completely. The glowing river reflected a million tiny lights. Creatures gathered in small groups, whispering and laughing softly. Aiden was taken to a high platform where he could see the entire city. He realized the scale of it now, stretching farther than his eyes could see. It was beautiful, terrifying, and mysterious all at once. Suddenly, he noticed a closed gate at the far end of the city. No creature entered or left, and the area was completely silent. His guide noticed him staring and said, "Beyond the gate lies what you are not ready to see, yet what you seek will find you." Aiden's heart pounded. The words were cryptic, but they hinted at something dangerous and powerful. He knew his first night on this planet would be full of questions with no easy answers. He laid down to rest, but sleep was difficult. Every sound, every flicker of light, made him feel both excitement and fear. He could not shake the feeling that he had arrived somewhere important, somewhere alive, somewhere that would change everything he knew about life. And as he closed his eyes, a distant hum echoed through the city. It was low, soft, but unmistakably present. It promised that tomorrow he would see things that no human had ever seen before. The next morning, the twin suns rose slowly over the horizon, casting long shadows across the glowing city. Commander Aiden stepped out, his eyes wide, still unable to fully grasp the beauty and strangeness around him. Everywhere he looked, the creatures moved with grace, their bare skin catching the sunlight like polished metal. They did not hurry, yet every action seemed precise and meaningful. His guide, the tall, glowing creature, gestured for him to follow. Aiden hesitated, unsure if he was ready, but curiosity overpowered caution. They walked through streets that twisted and curled like vines, the buildings alive with subtle movement. It was impossible to tell where the ground ended and the walls began. Colors shifted with every step, and the soft hum of the city pulsed through the air, almost like a heartbeat. As they reached a large open area, Aiden saw dozens of creatures performing what looked like a dance. Yet it was not playful, not a celebration. There was discipline in every motion. Each movement seemed to release small glimmers of light from their bodies. Aiden watched, mesmerized, feeling a strange energy pull at him. He wondered silently if the dance had meaning, if it was part of their survival or a ritual of some kind. Finally, they stopped at a building that was completely open, no doors, no walls, just a curved frame of living wood. Inside, Aiden saw creatures of all ages, eating, talking, and working in perfect harmony. There was no chaos, no argument, yet the energy in the room was almost electric. A creature approached Aiden with a simple tool in hand, something that glowed faintly. It gestured for him to try, and as Aiden held it, he felt a tingle in his fingers. It was as if the tool understood him. If it was alive. "You will learn," the guide said softly. "But first, you must understand our ways." Aiden nodded, still trying to hide his amazement. He realized that everything about the species was designed to connect, to share, to flow. Privacy and secret seemed meaningless here, yet somehow he sensed there were things even he was not meant to see. Lunch was strange and beautiful. Aiden was offered glowing fruits and liquids that shimmered like molten metal. When he ate, a warmth spread through his body. Unlike anything he felt before, he realized food here was more than sustenance. It seemed to give energy to the body and mind. The creatures ate slowly, deliberately, and shared everything. Aiden felt out of place, awkward, yet he could not look away from the harmony around him. Curiosity overcame him, and he asked, "Why do you never wear clothes?" The guide's expression did not change, yet the eyes seemed sharper, almost amused. "Clothing hides, but we are seen in truth," it said. "Truth is safety, and hiding is weakness." Aiden frowned, struggling to understand. On Earth, clothing was protection, identity, comfort. Here, it was unnecessary, even foreign. Yet the energy in the city felt powerful, alive, untouchable. As the day passed, Aiden began to notice subtle rules. Some areas of the city were off-limits, guarded not by walls but by silent watchers. Sometimes a creature would stop, glance at him, and he would feel a sudden tension in the air. No one explained these rules, yet everyone followed them perfectly. He asked about them quietly, but the guide only smiled faintly. "Patience, traveler. Some things reveal themselves slowly," it said. In the late afternoon, Aiden was led to a garden unlike anything he had seen. Plants that glowed faintly grew in patterns that seemed to respond to movement. A river of silver water ran through it, reflecting the sky. Aiden knelt to touch the water and felt a vibration run through his hand. It was subtle but undeniable. The guide watched silently, its glowing eyes reflecting the water. "You feel it, do you not?" it asked. "Yes." Aiden whispered, "What is it?" "Life energy," the guide said simply. "We do not hide from it. We use it, we honor it, we live with it." Suddenly, a scream pierced the garden, sharp and alarming. Aiden jumped, looking toward the sound. A small creature had fallen near the silver river, its body twitching strangely. Others rushed to it, their hands glowing faintly as they touched it. Within moments, it stopped moving and stood again, unharmed. Aiden felt a shiver run down his spine. He realized the species had abilities he could not comprehend fully, yet no one seemed afraid, just calm, almost attached. That night, Aiden lay on the soft ground outside, staring at the two moons rising in the sky. He could still see faint lights moving across the city. Like fireflies, his mind raced with questions. What was the secret behind their harmony? How could they heal so quickly? Why were some areas off limits, and what lurked behind them? The hum he had heard the night before returned, low and deep, vibrating in his chest. It was calming, but also a warning. A sudden sound drew his attention. A door in the distance opening, a shadow slipping out. Aiden froze, watching carefully. The shadow moved with purpose, not like the other creatures. It disappeared before he could see where it went. Leaving only a faint ripple in the air, the guide appeared beside him silently. "You saw the first step," it said. "The rest will come in time, but not all steps are safe." Aiden nodded. Though unease gripped him, he understood now. This world was beautiful, powerful, and terrifying, and the secrets of the species were far from simple. As he drifted to sleep under the twin moons, one thought dominated his mind. Everything here was connected, yet some things were hidden. If he wanted to survive, if he wanted to understand, he would have to learn their ways, and perhaps face dangers that no human had ever faced before. The following morning, Commander Aiden woke before the twin suns fully rose. The air was cooler, the city quieter than before he stepped outside, feeling the soft sand under his feet. Everything looked peaceful, but something in him told him the calm was not ordinary. As he walked through the winding streets, he noticed a group of creatures gathered in a circle, their bodies glowing faintly. They whispered, moving in patterns he could not understand. When their eyes met his, they quickly looked away, as if caught in a secret. Aiden's heart raced. He realized that not everything in this city was open and honest. There were rules beyond what he could see, rules that were hidden even from newcomers. He decided to follow them quietly, keeping a safe distance. The group led him to a narrow corridor between two tall, twisting buildings. At the end, a hidden door opened into a shadowed room. Inside, Aiden saw objects that looked alien and dangerous. Strange glowing devices floated in midair, connected by beams of light. The creatures moved around them, adjusting, touching, and speaking softly in their musical language. Aiden's eyes widened. He had no idea what these devices were for, but instinct told him they were powerful and important. One of the creatures noticed him and froze. For a moment, Aiden feared he had been caught. But instead, the creature gave a subtle nod and whispered something in a language he could somehow understand. "Some things are not for every eye, but you may watch." He watched in silence, curiosity battling fear. Suddenly, the devices emitted a soft pulse of light. The room trembled slightly, and the creatures jumped back. Aiden felt a vibration in his chest, a strange resonance he had never experienced. It was beautiful, hypnotic, but also terrifying. He realized that this hidden power might explain why the species never needed clothes or shields. They were connected to energy in ways humans could not even imagine. Suddenly, a scream shattered the calm. A small creature collapsed outside the corridor. Writhing on the glowing floor, Aiden ran toward it, but he was stopped by his guide, who appeared silently beside him. "Do not intervene," it said softly. "Observe only. The lesson is more important than fear." From a distance, Aiden watched as other creatures approached the fallen one, their hands glowing brighter. They chanted softly, and the creatures slowly rose, unharmed. Aiden's mind raced with questions. How could they heal so quickly? Was it energy, biology, or something else entirely? And why did no one panic? As the day went on, Aiden noticed more strange behaviors. Some areas of the city were completely empty, yet he could feel faint vibrations, like whispers in the ground. Sometimes, a shadow would move just out of sight, too fast for him to track. He asked his guide about it, but the answer was always the same: patience, traveler. The city shows itself in time. Aiden began to feel uneasy, as if the city itself was watching him, testing him. That evening, he was invited to a communal space where creatures gathered to share knowledge. The walls glowed faintly with patterns that shifted as they spoke. Aiden listened carefully, trying to learn their language. Suddenly, he noticed a small, hidden door at the far end of the room. It was unlike the other doors, closed, dark, and silent. No creature approached it, and the air around it seemed colder, heavier. Aiden's curiosity overpowered him. He crept toward the door, careful not to be noticed. As he reached for the handle, a hand touched his shoulder. He spun around, ready to apologize, but it was not the guide. It was another creature, its eyes glowing brighter than any he had seen. "You should not go there," it whispered. "But I must know," Aiden said, his voice trembling slightly. The creature hesitated, then nodded. "Then watch carefully and understand what is hidden may change everything." Through a crack in the door, Aiden peered inside. He saw made his blood run cold. The room was filled with creatures, but they were not acting normally. Some floated above the ground, their bodies glowing violently. Others moved with a strange rhythm, completely synchronized with the glowing devices on the walls. It looked like a ritual, but darker, more dangerous than anything he had seen. A sudden pulse of light shot across the room, and one of the creatures screamed. Aiden jumped back, fearing the worst. The glowing figure fell, motionless, yet moments later it rose again, unharmed. A shiver ran through him. He realized the species had secrets far beyond healing or harmony. They had control over forces he could not understand, and not all of it was safe. That night, Aiden could not sleep. He remembered the hidden corridor, the floating devices, and the glowing room. Question swirled his mind. Was this species more advanced than humans in ways beyond technology? Could their power be dangerous? And most importantly, what would happen if he learned too much? As the twin moons rose, casting pale light across the city, a soft hum echoed once again, deeper and stronger than before. Aiden felt it vibrating through his bones. It was a warning, a call, and a promise all at once. Tomorrow, he knew, would not be safe, and the first shocking discovery of the species' true nature was only the beginning. The next day, Commander Aiden woke with a heavy feeling in his chest. The twin suns were brighter than ever, but their light did not comfort him. He remembered the hidden room, the floating devices, and the strange ritual he had witnessed. Something told him he could not ignore the mysteries any longer. He quietly left his resting area, careful not to attract attention. The city seemed calm, almost too calm. He walked past the glowing streets and twisted buildings. Every shadow seemed to move. Every sound seemed alive. He could feel the energy of the city flowing under his feet, pulsing with life and secrets. Aiden reached the corridor he had seen before, the one leading to the hidden door. He waited until the creatures guarding it moved away, then slipped inside. The air was cooler here, tinged with a strange metallic smell. Inside, the devices floated as they had the day before, but now they pulsed faster, brighter. It was as if the room itself was aware of him, warning him to leave. He moved closer, studying the glowing symbols that floated in the air. Each one seemed to contain information, knowledge he could not fully understand. Suddenly, a soft hum filled the room, growing louder, vibrating through his chest. Aiden realized he could feel the energy of the city flowing through the devices. It was intoxicating, dangerous, and beautiful all at once. He reached out to touch one of the floating devices, and the moment his fingers brushed it, a jolt of energy ran through him. Images flashed in his mind. Creatures floating, glowing, connected to streams of light. He saw glimpses of their history, their rituals, their power over life itself. It was overwhelming, and Aiden stumbled backward, gasping. The hum became louder, almost a roar, and the devices pulsed violently. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind him, trapping him inside. Aiden turned, panic rising. He realized that the city itself might be alive, responding to his presence. The energy in the room shifted, almost like it was studying him, judging him. He tried to step back, but the devices moved closer, forming a circle around him. Then, a voice echoed, soft and melodic, yet commanding. "You should not touch what is forbidden," it said. Aiden froze, his heart pounding. "You are curious, but curiosity can be dangerous," the voice continued. He turned and saw a creature emerging from the shadows, taller than any he had met before. Its skin glowed brighter than the devices, and its eyes held a warning that made Aiden shiver. I just wanted to understand," Aiden said, his voice trembling. The creature approached, hands raised, not threatening but powerful. "The devices show knowledge and power," it said, "but only those ready can see fully. You are not ready, yet you are learning. Be careful, for understanding too much too soon can destroy not just you, but others." A sudden pulse from the devices threw Aiden off balance. He fell to the ground, feeling the energy rush through him, almost burning. When he looked up, he saw creatures entering the room, drawn by the pulse. They were calm, but their glowing bodies emitted a warning. One of them extended a hand, touching a device, and the energy shifted, calming the room. Aiden realized that the species controlled the devices not just with tools, but with their very bodies and minds. As he struggled his feet, he noticed a faint light in the corner, a hidden compartment, partially open, revealing something strange, a small object, glowing and humming softly, almost alive. Aiden approached it, heart racing. He could feel its power, dangerous and ancient. It seemed to contain the key to why the species never wore clothes, why they could heal, and why the city pulsed with energy. Before he could touch it, a warning came from the tall creature. "Do not take it," it said, voice firm. "You cannot control it. It will reveal itself when the time is right." Aiden's curiosity battled fear, but he stepped closer, unable to resist. The moment his fingers brushed it, the room shook violently. A sharp beam of light shot across the ceiling, and he felt himself lifted slightly, weightless and terrified. The other creatures moved quickly, chanting softly, and the energy began to calm. Aiden's body tingled with power, and he realized he could almost sense the thoughts of the creatures around him. It was exhilarating and terrifying. For the first time, he understood that their power was not just technology. It was life itself, energy flowing through them, connecting them in ways humans could never imagine. Finally, the tall creature reached him, placing a hand on his shoulder. The energy calmed, and Aiden fell to ground, breathing heavily. "You have seen too much today," it said softly, "but you have learned something important. The city, the devices, the energy, none of it is harmless. Respect what you do not understand, for danger lies in ignorance." Aiden nodded, still trembling. He realized the gravity of what he had discovered. This species was powerful beyond imagination, their connection to energy, life, and knowledge far greater than humanity. But their secrets were dangerous, and curiosity could bring harm if not tempered with caution. As he left the room, the hidden door closed silently behind him. He looked around the city, glowing softly under the twin suns. Everything seemed peaceful, yet he knew now that danger lurked beneath the calm. The harmony of the species was beautiful, but fragile, and tomorrow, he feared, would bring more challenges, more secrets, and perhaps the first real threat to his life. That night, Aiden could not sleep. He remembered the pulsing devices, the energy that nearly lifted him from the ground, and the glowing object humming softly, almost alive. He realized that this planet, this species, was unlike anything humans had ever encountered, and he wondered silently, could he survive the lessons yet to come, or would the dangerous secrets of the city claim him? The hum of the city echoed through the night, low, deep, and powerful, a warning, a promise, and a challenge all at once. Aiden closed his eyes, knowing that the dangerous discovery he had made today was only the beginning. The day began quietly, but Aiden's mind was anything but calm. He could still feel the energy of the glowing devices pulsing through him. He knew he had crossed a line yesterday, touching powers he barely understood. The memory of the small glowing object haunted him, its hum echoing in his thoughts. As he walked through the city, he noticed the creatures watching him more closely than before. Their glowing eyes followed him from a distance. It was not hostility, but curiosity, or perhaps judgment. Aiden realized that his actions yesterday had not gone unnoticed. He felt both fear and anticipation. He needed answers, but he also feared what those answers might cost him. The guide appeared silently beside him, as if reading his thoughts. "You seek knowledge, yet some truths are dangerous," it said softly. "I understand," Aiden replied, "but I cannot turn back now, not after what I have seen." The guide nodded slowly, its glow dimming slightly. "Then you must confront the truth yourself, and be prepared for what it demands," it said. Aiden was led to a vast chamber at the center of the city. The walls shimmered with colors that seemed alive. In the middle, the other creatures waited, forming a circle. The air was thick with energy, vibrating softly beneath his feet. He stepped forward cautiously, unsure what to expect. The tallest creature, the one who had warned him about the devices, stepped forward. Its glow was brighter than ever, illuminating the chamber. "You have seen our power," it said, voice resonating in the room. "You have touched what few outsiders ever touch. Now you must decide. Will you respect our ways or push further? Every action has consequence, and not all knowledge is safe." Aiden swallowed hard, feeling the weight of the moment. He wanted to ask everything, to know the secrets that had been hidden from him. But fear gripped him, reminding him of the dangers he had already witnessed. He realized that the species' power was not just technological. It was biological, mental, and deeply connected to life itself, and human understanding might not be enough to control it. A sudden movement drew his attention. A small creature approached, carrying the glowing object he had seen yesterday. It placed it before him, and the hum grew louder, vibrating through his body. Aiden's fingers itched to touch it, to understand, but the tall creature raised a hand, warning him silently. "Control your curiosity, or it will control you," it said. Aiden hesitated, torn between fear and desire. He knew that touching the object again could reveal the full truth, or it could endanger him. Even the species around him, his heart raced, his mind searching for the right choice. Finally, he made a decision. Pushing curiosity aside for the moment, he stepped back, bowing slightly, showing respect. The tall creature's glow softened, almost approving. "You have learned wisdom," it said, "but knowledge without understanding is dangerous. Some secrets are not meant to be taken lightly. You may continue to observe, but your actions will shape the lessons you receive." Aiden nodded, still trembling. He realized that this confrontation was more than a test of bravery. It was a test of morality. He had to balance curiosity with respect, knowledge with caution, and he understood now that the species had designed their society to teach this lesson. Every rule, every hidden area, every ritual had a purpose, to guide the unprepared and protect both them and outsiders from harm. As he turned to leave the chamber, a sudden shock ran through him. A glowing ripple passed across the floor, and the creature's eyes brightened. He realized that the city itself was alive, reacting to decisions and intentions. Every thought, every movement, every choice could send waves through the energy network. The hum of the chamber grew louder, almost like a heartbeat. Aiden felt both awe and fear. He understood now that the species' power was not just in the glowing devices. It was in their connection to the city, to each other, and to life itself. Later, as he sat alone in his resting area, Aiden reflected on the confrontation. He knew that curiosity could be dangerous, yet he also felt an irresistible pull toward the truth. He realized that the species' secrecy was not just about control. It was about survival. They protected knowledge that could destroy if misused, and he wondered how much of it he was ready to face. A sudden knock on the glowing walls startled him. A small creature entered silently, its eyes bright with urgency. "You may see more soon," it whispered, "but not all are ready for full truth. Some truths demand sacrifice, and the path ahead is not safe." Aiden nodded silently, understanding the gravity of the warning. He knew now that he was part of something much larger than himself. The species' world was beautiful, powerful, and dangerous, and every step he took could bring knowledge or disaster. That night, under the twin moons, Aiden could not sleep. His mind replayed the confrontation again and again, the glowing object, the energy, the lessons about restraint, morality, and respect. He realized that tomorrow would bring even greater challenges, and that the dangerous path he had chosen might test everything he believed. As the city hummed softly around him, Aiden understood one thing clearly. He had crossed a line, and there was no turning back. The confrontation had shown him the power of the species, the weight of their secrets, and the danger of curiosity. And he knew, deep in his heart, that the most shocking revelations were still ahead. The twin suns rose slowly over the glowing city. Commander Aiden felt a mix of excitement and dread. He knew today he would finally discover the full truth, the memory of the hidden devices, the pulsing energy, and the glowing object haunted him. Every step to the streets felt heavier, as if the city itself was aware of his intent. His guide appeared silently, its glow dim but steady. "You are ready," it said, "but be warned, the truth may change you. Some knowledge cannot be unlearned, and once seen, it can never be forgotten." Aiden nodded, swallowing hard. He had no choice but to continue, curiosity and fear battling within him. They approached the central chamber, the largest he had seen. Its walls shimmered like liquid light, stretching higher than the eye could see. Inside, the creatures gathered, forming a perfect circle, their bare bodies glowing with energy. In the center, the small object that haunted Aiden for days floated, pulsing softly. It seemed alive, almost breathing. Aiden felt a strange pull toward it, as if it were calling to him. The tall creature stepped forward, its glow now blinding. "You have seen parts of our world, but not all," it said. "Now you will see why we were nothing, why we live in harmony with energy, and why some truths are dangerous to outsiders." Aiden's heart pounded. He could feel the energy in the chamber vibrating stronger, resonating with the city itself. Slowly, the creatures raised their hands, their glowing bodies forming a pattern in the air. The object in the center began to spin faster, radiating light in all directions. Aiden felt it enter his mind, not as words, but as knowledge raw and powerful. He understood now. The species had evolved beyond the need for clothing. Their bodies absorbed energy from the environment, from the city, and from each other. Clothing would block this flow, disrupt their connection, and weaken them. He saw visions of their past, of ancestors learning to harness the energy. At first, it had been chaotic, dangerous, and even deadly, but over centuries, they had perfected the balance. creating a society where harmony and energy were inseparable. Every action, every ritual, every glance had purpose. Even the smallest creature contributed to flow, maintaining the balance that kept the city alive. A sudden ripple of energy surged through the chamber, and Aiden felt himself lifted slightly off the ground. He saw creatures levitating, moving through the air as if gravity did not exist. Energy flowed to them like rivers of light, connecting them to the city and to each other. He realized that their power was not just physical, it was mental, emotional, and spiritual. Every thought, every emotion affected the energy around them, and the city itself reacted to their intentions, amplifying or dampening the flow. Then came the shocking part, the revelation that made his breath catch. The species did not just control energy. They could manipulate life itself. They could heal, regenerate, even influence the growth of other beings. A small flick of their hand could save or harm, depending on their will. The glowing object was the core of this power, a repository of knowledge and energy accumulated over millennia. It was both a tool and a living entity, connected to the very life force of the planet. Aiden felt both awe and fear. He realized that any outsider touching the object or misusing the energy could cause catastrophe. The species' secrecy, their rules, their rituals, all were designed to protect life itself. And now he understood why some areas were off-limits, why the rituals seemed dangerous. The power they held was beautiful, but deadly in untrained hands. As he absorbed the knowledge, he also felt a warning. The city was alive, aware of him. It could sense his intentions, his fear, his desire for understanding. Any reckless act could trigger a dangerous response. Aiden realized he had walked a fine line for days, and now he stood on the edge of true revelation. The tall creature stepped closer, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Do you understand now?" it asked, its voice deep and melodic. "Yes," Aiden whispered. "I understand, but it's too much." "It is," the creature said. "Too much for those who are unprepared. But you have learned restraint, curiosity balanced with respect. That is why you survived this revelation, while others would fall." Suddenly, a warning ripple passed through the chamber. The glowing object pulsed violently, casting shadows that twisted like serpents. Aiden realized the city itself was testing him, measuring his intent. He felt a surge of temptation. What if he reached out, touched the core fully, and absorbed all its energy? The thought thrilled him. But fear anchored him, reminding him of the consequences. He stepped back, bowing slightly in respect. The tall creature's glow softened, almost approving. "You see now," it said, "the truth is not just knowledge, it is responsibility. To take power without understanding is to destroy life itself. Our way is not weakness, it is wisdom." Aiden nodded, finally comprehending the balance the species maintained. He realized that the harmony, the absence of clothing, the rituals, and even the dangers he had witnessed, all made sense now. They were guardians of life, energy, and balance, and their secrecy was the only way to protect themselves and the world around them. That night, as Aiden lay under the twin moons, he reflected on everything he had seen. The shocking revelation burned in his mind. The species' control over energy, their connection to life, and the deadly power they wielded. He realized he had witnessed something no human had ever seen before, and he knew that tomorrow he would face decisions that could change everything. The knowledge was beautiful, terrifying, and humbling, and the hum of the city echoed once more, a reminder that power must be respected, not taken lightly. The twin moons hung low over the glowing city. Commander Aiden stood at the edge of the central chamber, staring at the pulsing object that had revealed the species' deepest secrets. The hum of energy vibrated through him, steady, powerful, almost alive. He knew the choice before him would define everything. Reach for the core and gain unimaginable power, or step back and respect the balance of the world he had entered. His guide appeared silently, glowing softly in the dim light. "You have learned much," it said, voice calm yet resonant. "But knowledge without restraint is a threat to life itself. The choice is yours, but remember, some actions cannot be undone." Aiden swallowed, his heart pounding. He thought of the pulsing energy, the floating devices, and the way the city itself responded to intention. He could feel temptation, stronger than anything he had known, whispering in his mind. He stepped forward cautiously, reaching toward the glowing object, but as his fingers brushed the light, a vision filled his mind. He saw the consequences of taking the energy for himself. Cities burning, lives ending, the delicate balance of the species shattered. The pull of power was strong, but fear and respect anchored him. He withdrew his hand slowly, bowing deeply. The tall creature stepped forward, its glow softening to a gentle light. "You understand now," it said. "True power is not possession. It is restraint. It is respect. You may leave with knowledge, but never forget the lesson, and remember, curiosity without understanding is a path to destruction." Aiden nodded, feeling a mixture of relief and awe. He realized that the species' way of life, their absence of clothing, their rituals, and their energy mastery were all designed to teach restraint, wisdom, and balance. He had been given a glimpse, a chance to understand something far beyond human comprehension, and he had survived because he had shown respect, not because he had sought power. As he turned to leave, he noticed movement in the corner of the chamber, a figure, cloaked in faint light, watching him silently. For a moment, he feared it was a test, another trap, but then the figure stepped forward, revealing itself. It was a younger member of the species, its glow soft and curious. "You may see more if you return," it whispered. "But not now. Not yet. Life and balance must guide you first." Aiden felt a strange warmth, a connection he could not explain. He realized the species had not just taught him restraint. They had shown him trust, and he knew that this trust was rare, precious, and dangerous. It was a lesson he would carry forever. Outside the chamber, the city glowed under the twin moons. Creatures moved gracefully, their bare bodies reflecting light, like living jewels. Aiden walked through the streets slowly, absorbing the beauty, the harmony, the silent lessons in every gesture, every sound, every ripple of energy. Every glance was part of balance he could barely comprehend. And he understood that this balance was fragile, dependent on wisdom, respect, and understanding. As he reached the edge of the city, he turned for one last look. The glowing object pulsed faintly in the distance, alive, aware, watching, and Aiden felt a chill, a mix of fear and gratitude. He had seen the unimaginable, learned the secrets of a species beyond human understanding, and yet he had chosen the harder path, not power, but responsibility. It was a choice he knew he would never regret. But as he prepared to leave, a subtle ripple passed through the city, almost imperceptible. The tall creature's eyes glowed briefly in the distance. Aiden felt a shiver run down his spine. A quiet voice echoed in his mind, almost like a warning. "Remember, traveler. The city remembers, the energy watches, and one day, the truth may call you back." Aiden turned toward his spaceship, walking across the glowing sands. The twin suns were rising again, painting the horizon in soft pink and gold. He felt changed, deeper, more aware of the fragility and power of life itself. And as the hum of the city faded behind him, he knew one thing clearly. This world, this species, and its shocking secrets would stay with him forever. The lessons he had learned were not just about energy or power. They were about responsibility, restraint, and the consequences of curiosity. As the spaceship lifted off the glowing sands, Aiden looked down one last time. The city shimmered like a living jewel, and he realized that while he left physically, a part of him would always remain connected to it. The knowledge he carried was a gift and a warning, and in the quiet of the engines, he could still feel it. The city, alive, watching, waiting, and somewhere deep inside, he knew the story was not over. The universe was vast, full of mysteries, and some secrets were meant to be both feared and respected. Aiden leaned back in his seat, closing his eyes. The twin suns rose fully, bright and warm, and for the first time in days he smiled. He had survived, learned, and understood, but the hum of the city lingered in his mind, a reminder that the shocking truth of this species, their energy, and their way of life could call him back at any moment. And with that, the journey ended for now,